like to welcome to the Love and Reality podcast from Perfect Match Season 2, Izzy Zapata. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to chat with you. We chatted just a little bit, obviously, ahead of Perfect Match Season 2 at the junket, and that was a little bit of fun. You
Mhm.
guys were a hoot that day, I guess you could say.
Most definitely.
A
That's for
fun
sure.
bunch. Let's talk from the beginning. When you got the call to Perfect Match, were you kind of already familiar with the format of the show?
Not really, man. They called me, I want to say probably about 2.5 months to kind of say like, hey, are you interested? Still kind of had to do like a small interview, and I got the official. I made the cast about a month before I was about to go on the show. I had never seen it, so I was like, all right, I really got to start watching this to know what the hell I'm getting myself into. And honestly, I was like, holy shit, like it seems fun, but like, I'm like, am I really gonna be able to do this? Because look, I don't know if I can like see my girl go on another date with another guy. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I don't know how this is gonna be, but yeah, man, it was just a risk I took.
Whenever you have that fluid conversation, was there any hesitations
Like, what do you mean?
for
With
you,
the
for like hesitation going on, or like when you're approached to have that conversation? Were you hesitant about doing? Obviously, you've done one, Netflix reality
Mhm.
show, which was a blast. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
and then you come in, and you're like, I've already been through it once. I guess I can withstand this again, type of scenario.
Yeah. I was definitely like, clearly reality TV is just not for everybody. And I've definitely learned that. But I think after, like you said, doing Love is Blind, seeing how to deal with the media and the public and also just my own mental health, I was like, yeah, I can definitely do this again. Like I grew some thick skin after, Love is Blind. So yeah, I had no problem going on this show.
Taking us in there to the first kind of moments. How do you find out like you're going to be amongst the like 10, the first 10 that kind of enter the villa?
They didn't tell me kind of till like I want to say like 2 weeks before I flew out. So I was like, holy shit, I'm one of the ones that, get to start out. It's an honor, honestly. And yeah, so I was pretty nervous. I was really nervous just because I was like, oh my God, how's this gonna go? Because my Love is Blind season hadn't aired yet. So I was like, no one's gonna know who I am. Like, and that's why I was so nervous, like on the first episode when I'm talking to Micah and everything, because yeah, I mean, nobody knew who I was, and I was just like starstruck seeing all these people. So it's crazy because you don't know who's gonna be there until you walk into the house. So yeah, I was mind blown when I walked in.
Yeah, because you have I forget that your season didn't air as well yet. So it's like you have a very few people like even Tolu, you and Tolu were in that same boat because her show hadn't aired. The Trust hadn't aired quite
Exactly.
yet. So you have something over to bond. Obviously, you talk about the nervousness when the entire Micah thing kind of unfolded. Did you know that this was eventually going to become like the meme worthy thing that it had become?
I did not at all think that. I didn't know that I did. Obviously, like I made a lot of friendship matches, majority. So I just thought, I mean, clearly the guy that got friend zone, but I did not know they were gonna that I was gonna look so obsessed with Micah. And even at that time, I was like obviously very tipsy as I'm talking to her. So it was kind of a blur. And when I watched it back, I was like, oh God, this is worth it. What it actually was in person. So, oh man, it was so cringy. But no, I did not expect that at all. And until like when it hit, they dropped like a teaser on the Netflix Instagram, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so embarrassing." Then when I saw episode 2, yeah, it just got even worse. So, so no, I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, I thought it was like I looked at it and I was like, man, when they dropped the teaser, obviously I had already seen it myself, but then like when they dropped the teaser, I was like, man, they did not do Izzy any justice by
Oh
releasing this
man,
before the show even came out. My poor guy
exactly.
is already dealing with it, and the show hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, dude. And then they dropped like obviously post show like the director's cut, the scenes they didn't show. They did me dirty, man. They did me
Exactly.
so dirty. But it's funny. It's funny to look back at it now, and just kind of
I,
laugh at myself.
I think that's one of my favorite things about you and how you've dealt with some of the situations, even dating back to Love is Blind and now with Perfect Match, is I tell everybody this: laugh at yourself. You're taking the control out of the people. Like if they come in your comments and say this and this, well, cool, yeah, I laugh. Did you not watch the video? I made fun of myself here, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one thing
exactly.
I learned. And with a good friend, it was like basically my manager. She told me, she's like, dude, you just gotta make the people laugh with you and not at you. And I just picked up and ran with it, man. And now I honestly have a blast making content for it, dude. I just have so much fun with it. So
Yeah,
it does help though, because if not, you can definitely spiral with, the
for
comments
sure.
and everything like that.
Yeah, people have strong feelings about certain things.
No, for sure.
um, Obviously, we saw Tolu kind of spurring you in exchange for Dom there. You don't kind of return to the show till later on. What goes on behind the scenes when you're away from the villa?
So we're actually so we stayed. They put us in a really nice resort. But again, you don't know who's there. So the whole cast is staying at this resort, and it's a big resort, but you can't, like, they don't let us out of our room other than like a certain amount of time of the day or like for dinner. But we're alone, and they like cover us with umbrellas and stuff, so we don't see the rest of the cast, and it spoils the show. So I just had a lot of time to myself, a lot of downtime. Watched a lot of TV, that's for sure. And just took lots of naps. Yeah, I was pretty much in my room with, trying to do some push-ups and just watched a lot of movies. That's the first time I ever saw Vanderpump Rules. I had never seen the show, and it was always on, and it was like one of the only channels in English. So I started watching that. I love the show. So yeah, just a lot of downtime.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine with that obviously because of your the length of like kind of your start and then kind of return there.
Mhm.
Obviously the mixer is whenever we kind of see everybody kind of you know enter the fold, which ended up what I like to call the kiss heard around the world.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
what was the
Totally
mood
different.
like? Exactly. What was the mood like within the house after everybody gets back and there's this like this explosive battle and just everybody's kind of going at each other's throat? What's the mood
Dude,
like for you?
that the minute that happened, we get to the mixer, we walk through the door, then Nick comes and talks to us, and it was crazy immediately because like they didn't show this part, but like Melinda, we're all just standing around. Nick's asking us questions, and like Christine's like, Kaz was, kind of flirting on me. Boom, like immediately as it starts, and then Melinda's like, yeah, I kissed Harry. And everyone was just like in shock. And this is before we break apart and all the girls go sit at the table. So within like 3 minutes, we're like, holy shit, this is about to be a shit show of a night. And it sure as hell was, that's for sure. So I kind of stayed back after a while. I was just hanging out with the guys. I was like, man, the drama kind of just took over everything. And like the girls were so much more involved with that than like actually trying to like mingle and mash. I was like, okay, well, at this point, I'm just gonna drink with the boys night. And yeah, as the drama went on, I just sat back and watched. But it was pretty intense for some people, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so you were like us, you know what I mean? You're just like, I'm gonna grab a drink and I'm just gonna enjoy what's going on in front of me because I'm not part of the drama.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying, like now that you're watching it back, like in a way I'm kind of glad I didn't have any matches, and to be caught up in the drama, and even post show now, I'm like, I had no idea, but watching my castmates go at it, and I had no idea some of this stuff was going on. I was like, God, I'm so glad I was not involved in any of this.
Yeah, because people are catching it's crazy to watch some of it. You got the lives, you got the Instagram lives, you've got the YouTube videos, and it must feel really nice to kind of sit here and you're not catching really any straight bullets. You know what I mean? Like you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here, you're kind of and you're like again, like us, just watching and you're like, holy shit, what happened? You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
I was there too, I promise.
Yeah, like half the stuff I didn't even know was going on. Because even then, like there was a group of us that we would hang out. Because after we got to see the whole cast, they let us all hang out in like groups at the resort if you weren't in the villa. So that was nice. And you can tell it was just very clicky, from like the people who were in the house to the people who were outside of the house. We were like the drama free zone, and then so to kind of see all this unfold, it's yeah, it's pretty crazy to me. But hey, everyone, it's the time to speak your truth. To speak your truth, you know.
Exactly, for sure, 100%. I do have a question. Obviously, we see at the end of the show, we see you go on the date with Jess, right?
Mhm.
Do you think if it happened earlier in the season, there's a potential that things might have played out a little bit differently for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, there's definitely like a good chance. I think Jess and I, we look for the same things as far as relationships. I feel like we're very similar. We take it very serious, and we're looking for like real love. So I think we definitely, maybe could have had a chance there. It's just it was hard, man, because I kept catching the shitty end of the stick, and like Micah was bummed out with Kaz, and then Jess with Harry. I was like, God, I can't catch a break. And I think like some of the other girls at this point, after we had the mixer, already kind of like they wanted to avoid the drama. I think a lot of the guys just icked them out, and I think like half of them didn't even want to go on dates. So I was honestly surprised to see Jess. Um, but in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I know this girl's like going through it. So I was hoping to see like, if you're gonna like push forward and try to give it a shot. But poor thing, man, she was just out of it. I don't blame her. So it worked out for the best, though.
For sure, for sure. That date obviously was a fun one to watch back. Take us through that kind of date, what happened, and kind of maybe like mirror kind of what we saw there.
Yeah, that was honestly so cool to do. I had never done that before. I had always seen it. And I thought it was just hilarious because we were like so close and wrapped up in this, and I felt so bad because like obviously my bald head, I don't have hair to catch my sweat, so it's just flowing down. And yeah, I kept getting like sweat all over Jess when I'm hanging upside down. It's like dripping on her. It was hilarious, yeah. But honestly one of the funnest dates, and I think it was a cool way to kind of break the ice and to have some fun with it versus it being like such a like intimate kind of like face to face kind of date or like dinner or something like that. And that's how I would date in like real life. I would want to, if it's a first date, I like to do something fun because I feel like it kind of takes the pressure off. And in that moment, I felt like that's what Jess needed because I think she might have maybe have felt too pressed if it was a little bit more of a face to face, just straight to the point kind of date. So yeah, it was a fun time though.
It was. It was fun. It was fun to watch too. It definitely even you said kind of spoke on the unfair shake I think that almost you had gotten throughout the entirety of the season. It was like this guy is just like, he's catching, you got friend zone without even being mean to be friend zone. Like Izzy's just you're just
Exactly.
out there just trying to be yourself, and hey, I'm here to find my perfect match, not perfect leftovers. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
pretty
Like,
much, man. I should be the perfect friend.
speaking of that, was there something that you wish was shown that didn't get shown that you were involved in?
um, Not really. I mean, everything kind of worked out well. I think there was just one. Um, I do have a conversation with Tolu in the beginning, and I think that was something cool. It was a deep conversation as far as like what we're looking for relationship wise and in a partner and stuff like that. And I wish I would have kind of shown that, like obviously to show my side of that I'm serious and looking for a relationship, but also with her. And obviously like with her you can see that she is like that down the road. But we matched by default. But I think after that, like a connection started to happen, and it was gradually growing. Obviously, until she left with Dom. So I would say probably just that part.
Um, was there anyone inside or outside of the house that you were kind of shocked that you became friends with on the show?
Um, Not really. I actually became very close with Jake Cunningham. Turns out he lives in Houston too. But he's just a very laid back, chill guy. I mean, I guess I'm not really shocked because I became friends with a lot of people. Um, and it was honestly a memory I'll never forget was my birthday was one of the nights there toward the end. and we all got to hang out, and everyone like we all just went and like partied together like a big family, and it was like me and Britton's birthday. We shared it. I think she was the day after me, and yeah, it's just like in that moment, it felt so nice to have like so much support from these people who were complete strangers when I first walked into this, and then like now you get so close to them, and I think that's one thing that reality TV does is you go through an experience that no one else will understand but each other, and you could definitely feel it in that moment, and that was honestly probably one of the biggest highlights when I was there filming.
One of the things I started noticing when I do these interviews and have these conversations with you guys and even talk to you guys, through socials and stuff like that. One of the more things that I've noticed is the bonds that you guys begin to share because again, this is an experience that nobody else understands. You guys are
Exactly.
dealing whether it's the comments or whether it's just the being there together. Does that something that really brings this all together for you in these experiences?
Yeah, I think so, and it's crazy because you can see like the I guess how different it is when we were off camera than on camera. I guess just to that point, we got so like comfortable, and it wasn't so for. If it was just more, it seemed more real, just because we're not like forced to be filming to try to match and stuff like that. So like you really get to know these people, and obviously like you're getting to know each other in a house, and there's not really much you can do but just be in the house and talk. So I think like once you go out and you see like for me, like the girls interact and there's music and they're dancing and you get to see like a whole other side of their personality was awesome, man. And I think that just made us a lot closer and it just made it more like personable than just like perfect match.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, perfect match is definitely a whirlwind when start to finish. It's not really a whole lot of bonding. It's a lot of pressure and a lot of
Mhm.
animosity or whatever. And no matter what happens, you have to deal with the aftermath of that. Obviously, we
Exactly.
led to the finale here. You and Jess kind of took the bow out, but then they were voting for who won perfect match. Who did you vote for, and maybe why did you vote for them?
I voted for Micah and Kaz because like I'm a very realistic person when it comes to relationships, and I think for them, um they actually, I mean, how I look at relationships, relationship is perfect. If it's perfect, something's wrong. And they faced some adversity. I mean, maybe a little too intense than most would want to put up with, but I think for me it was they had their connection. They had things happen. They split apart, but in the end, they came back together. And I was a fan of that, and so that's why I chose them versus like couples that had just met. Which no shade to the other couples or anything like that, but like either couples that just met, or couples that were like together that just never had an issue and it was just lovey-dovey the entire time. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, this is kind of cheesy, but so that's why I voted for them.
Yeah, I have a fun question for you. I think that in my head, I think there's a few different ways that I think I would tweak Perfect Match into a season three. I would love to see or hear if you have an idea that maybe you think would make the show a little bit better.
Mhm. Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, I mean, they did it because I don't think they did it on season one, and I think having that guy girl mixer is it was a good idea. Um, One to obviously test your relationship, but it was also nice because you give people who weren't in the house a chance to, try to find love too. Because like Trevor was on the show and like he never went on a date. He barely got to chat with the girls. Like he only had those two mixers, you know what I mean? Um, so I think for that, just to really give somebody a chance at love, because there was a lot of people that I didn't get to see till the end, and I'm like, man, and I got this from like hanging out with them outside of the villa. I'm like, the whole dynamic of the house would be completely different if like y'all were in, right now, and like different guys were in. So yeah, it definitely changed the vibe up. At the beginning, like having Harry and Dom and all them in there versus like if you were to have some other people and change it up. I felt like it could have been a lot more organic for some people.
I think one of the ideas that I have that I think would be great is the opportunity for everybody to have a shot. I think you
Mhm.
let all 22 people start at the beginning, and then
Mhm.
like you have like a 24-hour mixer, and then I think after that you have a competition where like the top 3 men, the top 3 women, if they win the competition, then they can pick their quote unquote perfect match at the time. And I think it gives the audience, not just the audience, but then of course you guys or the people
Mhm.
casted in the season, an opportunity to like really find somebody and even fight for a spot on the show, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
I was
actually be
like,
really nice.
right. I think so too. And obviously, you make a competitive nature because obviously there's a lot of people that are like, oh, we're here for clout, and some people are here for love, some people aren't. But I think if you make it a competitive thing, you wipe away the clout because people are actually competing for a spot on the show. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then after that, you obviously it is kind of what it is.
Mm, that's
So
good. We'll have to tell Netflix about
I know that's what
that.
that's what I'm saying. I was like, Um, we talked about this a little bit before we jump on, but does it still shock you when you go live? You go live a lot, and I love watching your lives because you are, in my opinion, one of the more real people. I hope you understand when I say that. One of the more
Yeah.
real people that I've seen within your lives and the communications that you have with people. It feels genuine. You feel like you genuinely want to get the people to know the people that are actually there watching you and talking to you and asking you genuine questions. Actually, first question, is it important for you to connect with the people that show appreciation to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like as I've learned, and I think what helped me learn through is was through Love is Blind. Like these people are real and they relate to you in a lot of ways, and a lot of people reach out to me. Like I was raised Jehovah Witness, and kind of got away from that later in life, and I know that that was huge on Love is Blind, that the amount of people who would message me and tell me thank you, I've inspired them, or they felt heard, they're not alone, because it was such a tough thing. I'm like, man, like, so seeing that really made me appreciate them. So that's why when I do my lives, I realize that these are real people that kind of like trust me in a way. And so, yeah, like I love talking to them. Makes me feel good to like, if I can give advice or help them out. And it's also just kind of fun to interact with them as well, just in general. Some of them, some people in there are fun and nuts in a good way. But um, yeah, with my lives, I like to make them very like personable, fun, and just honest. Because if you're cheesy or you're fake or like put it on a fake personality, people are gonna read you out. So. And this is how I am when I do any show. I like to be the same way in real life. I would like to think I'm the same person that you would see on Perfect Match or Love Is Blind. And if you were to meet me in person, I'd still be the same way.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. It's definitely cool to watch unfold. Obviously, we saw recently that you stepped out into a relationship. It seems that maybe you found your perfect match off screen. Take us behind a little bit about that and how that has kind of maybe changed Izzy the person and maybe what's in store for you.
Yeah, man. So I actually met her when I was right when I got back from filming Perfect Match. So yeah, man, we've been on together for almost a year now. And she's amazing. Honestly, she's been huge for me. And I mean, I got to give her props, man. She's been there through the ride of when Love Is Blind was airing and going through all that, and she was my support system, big time, man. Because like Love Is Blind was a little rough sometimes, and then now she went through it with me with Perfect Match. So yeah, man, we met at I took her on a date to a cooking class, and then we get there, and Stacy is in the same cooking class, and yeah, man. So we end up getting matching tattoos that say "Yes, Chef." And yeah, man, we've been dating for almost a year now, and yeah, it's gotten pretty serious. And we're ring shopping at this point. So yeah, I think that's the next step. Is we're about to move in together, and yeah, I think the rings coming soon.
That's awesome, man. First off, congratulations.
You.
What is something that maybe you learned on your time in Love Is Blind and then Perfect Match that has helped you kind of form this relationship and make yourself a better man presenting to the relationship?
Um, honestly, just I think the communication and patience that I had, you know, with Stacy, and then obviously with these girls who are going through a hard time. Um, Honestly, that's helped me a lot in my relationship now. I'm the same way. I've gotten better because communication is huge. And um, yeah, it's just like I've only practiced that more and more as time gone, and I've only gotten better and better at it. And I think that's one thing that I've appreciated. Um, yeah, when I did both shows, honestly, it goes a long way. Happy wife, happy life, dude. It's a real thing.
I've been married going on 6 years, so I totally
See, you
totally
get
understand,
it.
100%, man. Yeah, but you're right though. I think that's one of the big things that's missing from a lot of relationship is the communication. It's hearing each other, hearing that conversation, and ensuring that you're, you know, happy wife, happy life. So,
Yeah, exactly.
um, obviously, with you being in a serious relationship, we do have a vast amount of shows in the reality TV world. Would you like to come back for more of a different type of reality show? We've got The Mole, we've got apparently this new show that's coming out in the future, this band camp where you're competing on that. Would you like to
Yeah.
be back into the reality TV
Oh
universe?
yeah, I think I heard about that show. I would love to do that. It's kind of like I want to do like a challenge show, like a physical type of challenge. I love to cook, so I wouldn't mind, you know, doing like a cooking type of show, some worst cooks of America or something, you know. But no, I would definitely be back for. I would love to be back for, you know, another show. I'm done with the dating, that's for sure. I went 0-2 on those. I found my real match in real life, man. So yeah, I think the dating shows were about done for me. But I'd love to
I,
come back and do another show. I love doing reality TV. It's fun, and I think it would be a lot more fun for me without the pressure of like finding love. You know?
for sure. Yeah, I definitely like I like the idea of like, we have the perfect match world, but like a chef version or a cooking version of that would be a lot of fun. There's so many different things that I think that Netflix could dive into that could really interpret. I always said that perfect match shouldn't be a thing. It should be the challenge because to me, like you have a challenge universe, the
Hmm.
drama we've seen throughout the years. If you watch the challenge, like the drama's
Oh
there.
yeah,
Couples come together, couples break up, but it's like there's drama. It's on its like 40th season this coming August, and
yeah.
they're
They're
bringing
about to
back.
do like a new one, like an All Stars or something. I saw
Yes,
Johnny
with like,
Bananas was coming back for that.
yeah, Johnny Bananas, CT, like those type of universes kind of build on their own drama. But
Yeah.
all right, final question: what's next for Izzy?
Um. Honestly, man, I'm just gonna be present at the moment. Just I think I'm really just enjoying my time with my girlfriend. She's done a lot for me. I mean, we've been doing so much for like both shows the last, just a year, pretty much the whole year. And I think now it's like her time. She's been there for me for everything. If I needed to go anywhere, be at any event, she would always just pick up and go. And I think now it's just our time to really enjoy ourselves, travel and soak it in. I'm really like looking forward to moving into this house with her and getting, you know, that situated and yeah, man, and looking for to propose soon and get my life going there. Um, and honestly, yeah, just kind of be with my family more and just be present.